Liam has an amazing sense of humor. And when Liam experiences joy, he experiences it fully. And he's really teaching the rest of us to enjoy those moments. My name is Sandra Goff. Along with my family, I live in Carmen, Manitoba. My husband's name is John, and I have 2 children. Jill is 12 and Liam is 10. When Liam was about a year, we realized that he was developmentally delayed, and when he was about 2, he was diagnosed with a rare genetic disorder. For Liam, it means he has fine and gross motor issues, very limited speech, and ADHD. When we first realized that Liam had a developmental delay, we knew from past experience that the healthcare system required advocacy. We made the phone calls, we were fairly relentless, we got a diagnosis fairly quickly compared to most families. We were very naive though in understanding that social programs and the education system would require advocacy. We were not aware that our systems aren't really designed to support the people who are unique. And I'm very fortunate living on the farm. I can make my own schedule somewhat. At times it felt like advocacy became a full-time job, but lots of families don't have that luxury. Rural life has been great having Liam. He likes to go. There's always someone checking fields or running here, running there, and that makes his day. It's also provided some hardship. When you have a kid that needs a lot of therapy, needs to see a lot of specialists, there's not a lot available locally. We're only an hour from the city. It seems like, that shouldn't be a big deal. But when you sit in the HSC waiting room and they're running 2 hours behind, and your son decides that he's gonna have a couple months where he does not like riding in cars, it's pretty exhausting. When we would be driving home, it would vary from just pure exhaustion to pure depression. I'm sure there are times that I cried that whole hour drive home. And I can't imagine the families that live further away or have to travel to specialists more often. Jill is a wonderful big sister.
Well, of course, I ride my horses. My main event is barrel racing or rodeo. I play basketball in school, and I want to get into volleyball.
When we had trouble at school with getting the right staff in place for Liam, our answer was, go find Jill. She can tell you what Liam's thinking. She can tell you what you need to do. And it's not how the system should work, but it really speaks to that bond that they share.
I don't think we would have horses if we didn't have Liam, so I'm very grateful for that.
Having a brother like Liam has made Jill a very empathetic person, but it's very hard for siblings. You have this person in your life who is supposed to be your brother, and they torture you, and you are supposed to torture them back because they're your brother, but you feel like you can't because they have special needs and they might not understand. Jill also gets robbed of her time with her parents a lot. The focus is often on her brother.
Definitely. When mom or dad gets really stressed out and then Liam's downstairs, it's like, oh, what do I do now? Do I help my mom? Do I help my dad? Do I go downstairs and just watch TV with my brother?
And it's made her very grown up and responsible, but she shouldn't have to be. I didn't know that this would be so hard for you, sweetie. When you have a child with special needs, sometimes you're so busy trying to figure out what he needs and support him and making a life for him that you don't meet a lot of other families. And we certainly didn't know any families that were similar to ours, and that can be very isolating. There's no playbook for raising a child with special needs. So when I was invited to join FAN and got to know some people, it really changed our lives. You had someone to run ideas by, someone that understood what it was like, just people who have been there before. And they can say, well, we tried this, and this worked for us, this didn't. Also, it's a great group of people. And if you say, I'm going to a meeting and I'm really nervous, they'll say, I'll come sit beside you. And that makes a world of difference. So FAN is a relatively new organization. We are a group representing families. We can be your one-stop shop for providing the family perspective. We are currently meeting regularly with a couple different levels of the Department of Families. We've just initiated contact with the Department of Education, and they have agreed to start meeting with us regularly as well. And we've actually seen some changes at the Department of Families. So when you start to see the effort you're putting in and the time you're taking to prepare for meetings and go, it's really rewarding. Connecting with another parent that has had a similar experience with a child or a loved one is it's heartwarming. It feels like a warm hug every time. Our vision for Liam's future changes on a fairly regular basis. There's definitely different things that we hope for, and as Liam grows up and develops, he's showing us his personality and what he may and may not like to do. The biggest worry with Liam's future is that if something happens to John or I, Jill loves Liam unconditionally and will always take care of him, but she should never be in a position where she has to put her life on hold. We do have family that will support us, but you do worry. No one else will love him or take care of him like a parent would. When I think of what FAN is doing in trying to represent all families in Manitoba, I think that we are able to change the system. I think when we advocate individually, we might be able to get the system to do what's best for our child or loved one, but we're just getting an exception to the system. And when we can speak with a united voice and we can make those changes to the system, it'll mean that a family in the future doesn't have to advocate for that exception because the system will already be designed to support them.